Thank you for staying with us on World Now. We move over to West Africa, where Guinea has dissolved 40 political parties, including its 3 main opposition groups. Now, this forms part of the latest crackdown on civil liberties under long-time strongman Mamady Doumbouya. Recall that Doumbouya, who came to power in a 2021 coup, was elected president in late December in a vote in which all major opposition leaders were barred. Guinea's Minister of Territorial Administration and Decentralization ordered the dissolution of the parties for failure to fulfill their obligations. The decree also stripped the parties of control of their assets. Guinea's 3 main political parties are among those dissolved: the UFDG, led by its exiled leader Celio Diallo, the RPG, led by exiled former President Alpha Conde, and the UFR. The party's assets have been placed under sequestration, with a curator appointed to oversee their transfer, with no specification of whom or what entity will be in charge. I'm joined by Global Affairs analyst Amuda Mushibodi. He joins me to discuss about this latest development in Guinea. It's good to have you join us on World Now. We see that Doumbouya was elected president in a vote where major opposition leaders were barred. Now his government has dissolved 40 political parties. Does this mark the consolidation of a one-party system in Guinea?
Thank you so much. Definitely, it does mark the consolidation of the one-party system in Guinea. If you look at the trajectory of all these, should I call them the military dictatorships that we've seen across the Sahel and it's been that pandering to public sentiment as populist, and then eventually showing their full should I say their full nomenclature or their full nature as, a dictatorship. And we've seen that play out in Guinea as it is the case now. So it simply means that we have come to the full cycle. We have come to the full circle where dictatorship is showing itself as being dictatorship and not anything around democracy.
And the 3 biggest opposition parties in the country among those that were dissolved, how significant is it that the political parties that once shaped the country's electoral competition, one will say, has now been formally dismantled?
Well, it tells you about the dynamics of politics. Now, the truth also is that the current state of the Guinean state as a whole is a function of the irresponsibility and, of course, the failure of administration by these political parties. Now, the truth is, a military, definitely, the coming of the military would not have been in the picture if governance had been delivered, or good governance had been delivered to the people by the likes of Alpha Conde and others. But then the failure of these people and the idea of taking the people for granted. What we have seen now is that the lack of legitimacy has a way of coming full circle. These people were disconnected from the people. These governments were disconnected from the people. And now there is a government in town which is saying that, hey, you are not represented. And because they do not even enjoy the mass support of people any longer, it's always easy to ride roughshod on them. So what we are seeing now is, maybe we'll call it political nemesis, or a political karma kind of, where those who were major players in the current and current state of Guinea have become witnesses and victims of the bile that they sow. Like they say, they ate to sow. And that's what we are seeing at the moment play out in Guinea.
And what precedent does it really set for countries that have experienced or are currently experiencing a military regime, in terms of governorship, governance specifically, looking at the fact that 40 political parties have now been dissolved? Some countries are still experiencing this kind of regime. But what precedents does it really set as to leadership in Africa?
Well, it sends a strong signal Because political parties must understand that they have a major place and a major role to play in every democracy. In fact, political parties are like rail guards in the democracy. So their duty is to prevent people who will not perform, from getting access to governance or government. And if and when political parties fail to do this and allow persons, pariahs, to gain access to governance and government, they will definitely suffer for it. The implication of all of this also is that the old support that people feel that they are given to military government is nothing but hypocritical and a facade, because these military juntas would always pursue their own self-interest. So the whole idea of running over or executing a coup in the first place will never be for the interest of the people at the end. We've seen it play out, not just in Guinea. We have seen what is happening in Mali as well, and other countries that are experiencing military junta. We have seen that there is always this attempt to want to perpetuate themselves in government, like the same civilians that they condemned and came in to power on the heels of their failures. So it's just the end of all the different. It's the same wine but in different bottles.
All right. I wish we had more time to continue this conversation, but our time is up. We'll continue this conversation much later. Thank you for joining us. At this time, African Affairs Analyst Mamady Doumbouya. Thank you for joining us. That's it. Onward now. For more updates on the stories we're monitoring, you can visit our website on www.